Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. This is the Legend of the Stars tournament. We're in round 1 watching Mephi versus Ajax on the Land Wilderness version 3. So the point of this tournament is to have qualifying rounds for a large end-of-year tournament between the best of the best players. This is the second round, and it's going to add 3 more players from the top rungs of the tournament to the finalist list going into the actual Legend of the Stars finals. So let's talk about these guys for a minute. Both of them are at 2,000 and 1,800 rank, so of the upper echelon. Ajax has drawn UEF. Both of these guys did go random factions, and it looks like he is going for a double land opening with a very minimalistic power build. Mephi is going for 3 land factories right out of the gate and has also drawn UEF. What are the chances? I do kind of agree on the random factions on this particular map because it is one that is extremely heavily influenced by hover. So that just kind of leaves it up to chance who gets hover and who doesn't, and in this particular case, neither one did. Mephi getting 2 P-gens, then a mass extractor. He's going to be a little low on mass with this build, but it does look like he's getting some reclaim out here with an engineer. And then on this side, he is going to have a lot of manual reclaim. Those rocks are 75 to 175 a piece. That should allow him to pick up pretty quickly. He did send a mech marine around the outside corner to hopefully snipe off this engineer, which is actually coming from Ajax. And then in the middle has a scout so that he can actually see what's going on and also break up tree clumps to hopefully slow down the reclaim of his opponent. I don't think that is actually going to be super effective because of the changes to the reclaim mechanic that came through a couple of balance patches ago, but all the more power to him if he wishes to spend the micro on such a dastardly deed. Got a hydro build going with 1 engineer and then an air factory, then a mass extractor. So this is going to be a 3 minutes away mass extractor, but I suppose if your land units are coming at a premium, you might want to wait that long in order to get a couple more tanks to the front line. Scout doing a little damage to that engineer, nothing particularly fantastic. And then tank moving over to this side, which will wipe out that scout in just a couple of hits. This manual reclaim is going to be successful. That engineer got out of the way of the mech marine just in time. It doesn't look like that move order has been replaced. Oh, there it is, as I'm saying it. He's going to loop back around. I'm sure he saw that the rocks were gone, so he knows that an engineer has passed by this way just a little while ago, but he is going to miss it again as that engineer continues its northward course. Nope, there we go. It is picked up. Doesn't look like a micro response in time, so that engineer is going to fall easy prey to the raiding units from Mephi. So over on this side, we have a good little bit of expansion. We've got an engineer following much the same path that Ajax's did, but it is going to pick up a little bit more reclaim than his. We've got a tank out to guard it from an intrusion such as the one that killed this one. And then on the front line, Ajax has sent a tank over this way to try to pick up an engineer as well. This dragged move order is a very nice little trick to use if you're trying to reclaim tree clumps quickly. You attack move from the factory using alt right click. The engineers go to where the red dot is located and they do very long range reclaim. You can see how far they are reaching to get this. And then you can drag that cursor around in order to move the engineers and not break that reclaim order. Definitely something that you should be using if you are not. And here is a matchup that we don't see very often. A Snoop versus a mech marine. A chase going down through the forest. That thing is going to be able to keep up because it's one of the few things in the game that is faster than a mech marine. And he is going to slowly but surely, 2 damage at a time, whittle away at the HP on that raiding unit. Tank is following quite closely, so should be able to pick up the kill if that does come back to try to kill the Snoop, which it appears it is going to do. Come on, you can do it. There's the kill. Terrain impact, and it's good. Alright, so no more raiding units on the left side. There is a scout out, though. It looks like we're up to a total of 4 land factories for Mephi, with that air factory pumping out an interceptor with a second air factory planned over here. Ajax, on the other hand, is sticking with 1 air factory and going for a 5th land factory. Let's actually check on the early game eco here. I'm going to pull up. Mephi is looking at 15 income, and he is in a very mild power stall, but managing quite well due to the additional reclaim that he's pulling in from the trees. So up to 19 mass income. Ajax, on the other hand, is at 25. So he was a little bit slower to get off the ground. Did not have the early rating that Mephi did, but it looks like that paid off in the long run with a little bit of an eco advantage. He does have fewer tanks on this right-hand side, so he may end up losing that expansion, although it does look like he temporarily drove away the forces. On the north side, looks like he is going to win the expansion war over there. And I have to remember... Nope. There we go. Set Focus Army 1. Very handy command to have. That is also how you can message players in game from the observer slot. You can select to go to that team, and then you'll be able to type as normal instead of typing as an observer without the players able to hear your conversation. Group of 5 tanks moving in. There is an ACU over here, but he is retreating just in time to leave those mechs to the slaughter. Looks like Ajax is moving his ACU up towards the front line. Now, we saw this same type of move from Keyser in the tournament last week, and it ended up costing him his life because he got tangled up in T1 tanks and was not able to defend himself. And we're actually looking at somewhat of a similar situation here. I hope Ajax does not fall prey to such a thing, because he is lone gunning it out there with his ACU. 100% of the units are funneling off to the right-hand side to try to contain this disaster happening on that flank. And there are quite a few tanks up here, along with an ACU moving in his direction. He is going to build those mass extractors and then move over this way in order to get out of harm's way. Those are probably going to pay for themselves. I believe it's 9 seconds they have to survive to break even, and then another 9 in order to earn back that cost, and that should be easy enough to do. So Ajax will pick up just a tiny little bit of mass, retreating in the face of a much greater foe. That's roughly double the tank numbers on this side, so Mephi reacting quite well there. We're going to start seeing, I think, a little bit of a map advantage for Ajax, even more so than we have. He is now up to a full-fledged 6 land factories, transporting engineers out to claim the expansions that he just cleared. He's got the 1 air factory still, 2 air factories, 5 land factories, and a 6th on the front line for Mephi. So now the build power is even. However, Ajax is still going to be ahead on mass, and his lead is probably going to increase. These have been rebuilt now, but now there's going to be 2 going down on the right-hand flank. Mephi losing ground on that side. Ajax pulling back. Gonna move his ACU on an intercept course for where those tanks were headed. Always got to keep in mind that if you can meet shield with your ACU to a certain degree, you will come out on top in terms of tank numbers, and that can do quite well later on. Your ACU can regen HP at a pretty reasonable rate, and you're going to be able to get back into the fight with some of that HP back, whereas your tanks, when they're dead, so you want to keep them alive if at all possible. Looks like Ajax is moving over to that side. He does have land scouts, and he does have radar right here, which is going to probably have range to about right there or so. So he is seeing these units coming around the left-hand side of the lake. He is not doing a brink, and he is building radar to collect that intel. This is why he is a 2K, and I am a 1200 ladder-rated player. Also got radar on the other side for Mephi, so both of these guys are in about the same boat as far as intel goes. Also have a transport out for Mephi, which looks like it's going to pick up a full load of mech marines, and we do have more transports building with more mech marines building, so we are going to see a ghetto gunship extravaganza. That is a cheeky little bastard of an engineer over here, just capturing those mass extractors. No need for a tank, no need to kill them, just going to straight up snag them, and then they will start earning mass for the green. So these mech marines are not going to be very easily denied. There's only 6 interceptors in the air on this side, which Mephi can directly counter. And of course, we all know when a transport is meat shielding for the interceptors. Oh, there are 2 more actually. When the transport is meat shielding for the interceptors, it is very easy to win an air fight. Mephi might be about to take advantage of that, and looks like a Mex is going to go down for Ajax. However, that... Oh no! That transport was far too low HP. Did you see the mech marine falling off of it? Interceptors actually shot a mech off of the transport before the transport died, but that is going to lead to a good solid turn. Mephi is going to be able to secure an air win, and now he can use these transports at will. Second Ghetto gunship moving over to the right hand side. There are no anti-air units over here, and there's no interceptors, so this could turn very nasty very quickly for Ajax. He's already got tanks moving in to hopefully exploit the weakness that he is going to develop. Mech Marines were going after the point defense, going to refocus on the engineer so that an anti-air turret doesn't get built, and now we'll be able to focus on the point defense. Those Ghetto gunships can be a little bit of a pain on some occasions because they do not actually have an aiming mechanism. You have to depend on the targeting priorities of the units inside, and you have to move so that you try to get them all focused on the proper target. There is an anti-air turret up on the south for Ajax now. He was able to build that a little further away with two of those engineers. Transport is going to take some damage, but it looks like he will succeed in his goal of knocking out that point defense. Has eliminated all of the tanks on this side, and he will be able to secure these mass extractors. Transport down, but the goal has been achieved. There is a radar over on this side, which will let Ajax know what is coming. Already starting to see some tanks moving off in the right side direction. Mephi is a little bit injured, but I don't think these are going to be enough tanks to actually kill that commander. There's no significant amount of artillery dealing damage, and there is water that he can retreat to at any time he wishes. Of course, we all know the ACU is equivalent to roughly 20 T1 tanks. Looks like there's maybe 10 there. The ACU was a little over half health when the confrontation began. Theoretically, granted, there can be bad things that happen that don't really follow the pattern, but theoretically, he should be able to kill all of those T1 units, probably pick up a veterancy in the process, and be all hunky-dory. I actually want to take advantage of this slight pause to take another look at the economy, because I'm sure things have swapped up. Mephi running about the same at 21, actually slightly lower eco than the last time we looked at him, and we have a solid 37 income, about to be 35 for Ajax. So he's continuing to lead in the economy war. He is at 4,600 reclaim versus 2,800 reclaim, and he has made the shift to T2. So at this moment, Ajax is in a pretty dang strong position. Can I please? Yes, there we go. Please have my overall view back. Mephi securing this expansion once again, and he needs to get engineers over here as quickly as possible. You'll notice that this engineer is still alive and has actually claimed another mass extractor, looped over this away, and is on course to build the Hydra, but there are now 2 tanks in pursuit, so I don't think that will be a very fruitful endeavor. Slight numerical advantage on the tanks here, but the engagement is a little bad. I think they would still come out ahead, but they have chosen to run. Gonna lose 1 tank on this side, 2 tanks for the green. Mephi throwing out the GG and Control Kang, because I think he sees how strong the map control is from Ajax. I don't think I would have Control K'd in that situation because there is still room for some movement, but he lost this on the right-hand side. He's down on eco, no expansions, and he's got pillars on the front line moving into the base, as well as a flak unit. So his air control's not going to be very good, and yeah, I guess I can understand that just a little bit. That is going to wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.